Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's Nazadekola. Today we'll be discussing best interview tips for nurses. With the nursing field becoming increasingly competitive, it's important to prepare yourself when it comes to job opportunities. And if you're applying to the NHS, the National Health Service has some specific requirements and expectations when it comes to hiring nurses. So it's important to prepare yourself for the interview process. So let's get started. First thing first, research the institution you are applying to. Research the institution, and this to me seems like the most important part because it's going to go a long way in determining the outcome of your interview. Okay. So prior to the interview, it is important to research the institution where you are applying, find out about the hospital's mission, the organizational goals, the values, the culture. This will demonstrate that you are interested in the organization and you are a good fit for the team. And if you are applying for a nursing job within the NHS, it is important that you know the NHS values. There are 6 core values of NHS generally. Okay. You have the compassion, respect and dignity, improving lives, working together, inclusivity, like everyone counts, then commitment to quality of care. Okay. These are the 6 key values, the core values of NHS generally. However, I understand that every NHS trust has its own separate values, but this will be the foundation for whatever value they've come up with. A trust might tell you their own value is confidence and safety. Another one would say maybe safe and effective care. Another one might say exceeding expectations. Others might say responsibilities and equality. Yeah. So they have different. They will come up with different values. Okay, but this will be the basic. So it will be helpful for you to research the specific values for that particular trust that you are applying to and be prepared to demonstrate how you will uphold these values during your interview and be ready to answer a lot of questions around these values. To be honest with you, a big chunk of the question that you'll be asked during the interview process is going to be around the organizational values. It's going to be around the trust values. Okay. Either be it a scenario question, be it personal questions, the value of the organization is going to be the key. And I'll digress a bit on this ground and tell you and just show you how you can approach interview questions with the understanding of the trust value. Let me establish here that scenario questions or personal experience questions, they are almost always centered around the trust value or the institutional value of that particular organization. Okay. So if you are faced with a question like maybe a personal experience and they tell you, Mr. Adekola, can you share with us an experience where you've been part of a team and you needed to achieve a difficult task? Okay. Share with us an experience where you've been part of a team and you needed to achieve a difficult task. The first thing, which is the right thing for you to do, is to paraphrase that question in your mind, paying attention to the values of the organization. Okay. If you approach that question carelessly or just innocently, then you might be saying some beautiful nonsense. Okay. So the best thing you can do is to immediately scan your mind, do your mind mapping, and think, okay, which of these trust values can you relate with this particular situation or this particular scenario or this particular experience that they've highlighted for you. Okay. In that situation now, you say, okay, share with us an experience of maybe a time in the past where you've been part of a team and you needed to achieve a difficult task. The first thing that will come to your mind will be maybe teamwork. Okay. Maybe they are interested in teamwork. And if teamwork is not part of that trust value, is not part of that organizational value, then you are just wasting your time talking about teamwork. Fine, you need teamwork, you need team spirit to be able to achieve any difficult task, but that's not their area of interest. Okay, so how will you know their area of interest? If you look at their trust value, maybe communication is part of their value, even though it doesn't directly relate to communication, but you need to rephrase the question, you need to paraphrase the question in your mind and say something like, okay, how will effective communication help you to achieve a difficult task? Okay, so then you can start thinking, all right, first of all, you need everybody to understand the task ahead, and effective communication comes to your mind. Then you start talking around how effective communication can help you achieve that task. If respect is part of the organizational value, then you can bring respect into it. Okay, like to be a team player, you must respect everyone's opinion. Okay, without respecting everyone's opinion, irrespective of your own personal position, then it's difficult for you to achieve a common goal. Okay, so you just need to start talking around that, and don't forget that same vocabulary, you need to repeat it to them. Yes, it looks simple, but you need to repeat it to them. So if it's respect you're talking about, then mention that word. Let them know, okay, this is what you're talking about. Don't leave them guessing. Okay, how will respect help you to achieve a difficult task? Then you can say, okay, you need to respect the opinion of every member of the team. Okay, you respect their limitations, you respect their area of expertise. You just talk around that. And if it's communication, like I mentioned as well, you talk about that and you emphasize that effective communication. You let that come in into whatever you are talking about. And if maybe exceeding expectation is part of their value, then you should know what they are after is how you are able to meet the target given and probably exceed the expectation you are given. So that will inform how you are going to structure your response. So you don't just approach those questions carelessly. And the same applies to scenario questions. Okay. So for example, now if they ask you during a medication round, you notice that one of your superior colleagues, now one of your senior colleagues, is about to give a wrong medication, okay, or probably a wrong dose of a medication or something in that light. How will you address the situation? The right thing to do is just do your mind mapping, scan through your mind and say, okay, what are the organizational values here? Which of these values apply to the situation at hand? If patient safety or maybe safe and effective care is part of the trust value, then what they want to know is how you give priority to the safety of the patient at that particular situation. Okay, so what steps will you take to ensure the safety of the patient? That's the indirect way of asking you the question, but they will never ask you in that direct way. So they will just twist it around and leave you to keep brainstorming. Okay, so everything, you might realize you've said everything right in an interview, and at the end of the day you still get unfortunate message. unfortunately, and you are wondering, you haven't said anything wrong. Everything you've said, they are the right things to do, but because what you've said, they don't align with the trust value, with the organizational value, then you are not a good fit for the team. So that's probably why you've been getting overlooked and be getting a lot of unfortunate messages. The second thing you need to put in mind in preparation for that interview is you need to understand the job description. You need to understand the job description, not just the job description, the person specification as well. Okay, I've seen a lot of people miss out on this part, and it's a very costly mistake to make. So you need to read and digest what the job description is. Make sure you understand the job requirements, the description. This will help you to answer questions related to your skills and how they relate to the job you are being interviewed for. Okay. It will also help you when they ask you, okay, a simple question like, why should we hire you? Okay, why should we hire you? Then your understanding of the person specification is going to help you to sell yourself out. It's going to help you to give you an idea of what kind of a person they are looking out for. Okay, and if you are that kind of person, then you need to let them know. Okay, if they've put in the person specification that they need someone that pays attention to details, that is diligent, meticulous, and all sorts of things, and you are here, they ask you, why should we hire you? You keep saying you are hardworking, you are punctual, you are this, you are giving us a lot of good qualities about yourself, rightly so, but those are not the qualities they are after. Okay, so your knowledge of the person specification is going to help you to sell yourself. Okay, and when they ask you about your past experience, be prepared to give specific examples of how you have used your skills in the past and how they align with the needs of the particular organization, how they align with the job description, how they align with the person specification as well. Your understanding of the job description is going to help you to structure the way you express your previous experiences, so you can focus on the skill set that really matters and let them know, okay, you've been doing this in the past, you've done this in this, you've worked in this particular place, these are the skills that you've picked up, these are your previous, if you have an achievement that is related to the job description or the person specification, then it's an opportunity for you to talk about it. Okay, so understand the job description, understand the person specification is really going to go a long way in determining the outcome of your interview. And one more thing, ask questions. Tell your neighbor, ask questions. Ask questions. It amazes me when people go for an interview, and at the end of the interview they ask you, do you have any question for us? And they say no. It doesn't really show that you are interested in the job you are being interviewed for. At the end of the interview, it's important for you to ask the interviewer some questions relating to the job position, your roles, who you'll be reporting to, probably the organization. Just ask them, get engaged. This will demonstrate that you are really interested. It will demonstrate your interest and engagement. Okay, and this will help you understand whether the organization is also a good fit for you or not. Okay, so get involved, ask them questions relating to your job role, the position, the organization. Ask questions. It might be a good advice for you to have prepared your question beforehand, so you don't have to start thinking, okay, what will I ask? Include this as part of your preparation for the interview. Okay, as you are preparing, also prepare, okay, what are the questions I'm going to ask? Okay, you can ask some sincere questions. Probably you find something in the job description that you need clarification about. That would be absolutely brilliant, because it will show to them that you've taken your time to go through the job description. If they ask you for a question and you tell them, okay, just a quick one, you've taken your time to go through the job description, and there's an aspect that you need a bit of clarity about, a bit of clarification on, irrespective of whatever question you ask, you've been able to create an impression in the mind of the interviewer, because now you've proven to them that you've gone through the job description clearly, and you've sold yourself out as someone that is diligent and pays attention to details, okay, and you are ready to engage as well. And it demonstrates interest. Also, it demonstrates your interest. It shows that you are really keen about the job. So ask questions. So those were some of the best interview tips for nurses. Remember to research the institution, pay attention to the trust values, the organizational goals and culture, and don't forget to dress professionally as well. Understand the job descriptions and ask questions. Okay, we hope these tips will help you to ace your next interview and land the job of your dream. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Nurse Adekola is my name, and I will see you in my next video. Cheers.